When my wife Claire laughed and said, "You're ruining the fun," I thought it was just another one of her playful jabs. Claire had a way of turning anything serious into a joke, a defense mechanism I used to find charming. But lately her humor carried an edge that cut straight to the part of me that still believed in us. We had been married for 6 years, and while most of that time had been warm, the last year was colder than I realized. Nights together had grown scarce. Conversations turned into monosyllabic exchanges. My attempts to reconnect, a surprise dinner, a heartfelt note, even a quiet evening in, were met with laughter, shrugging, or that familiar line, "You're ruining the fun." Claire was a marketing executive. Brilliant, persuasive, and always the center of attention, she thrived in chaos and social energy. I, on the other hand, was content with calm, with stability, with quiet evenings and honest conversations. Somewhere along the line, our differences became walls. That night, she was hosting a small gathering at our house. Friends from work, colleagues, and a few clients she always raved about. I suggested an early night. "We could just order in and watch a movie," I said. Her laugh, sharp and loud, cut through the room. "Daniel, don't be a bore. You're ruining the fun." I froze. For a moment, I felt the weight of years in her tone. This wasn't about a night in. This was about me being me. The man she married, now suddenly a threat to her enjoyment. I didn't argue. I didn't yell. I just walked out. No dramatic scene, no confrontation. Just a quiet exit into the night. My coat hung loosely on my shoulders, my hands shoved deep into my pockets. I didn't look back, but I could feel her eyes burning through the sliding glass door. By morning my phone buzzed endlessly. 47 missed calls. Messages pinged in rapid succession. "Daniel, come back. Why are you doing this? I just wanted to talk." I read each one calmly without replying, because I realized something crucial that night. When someone consistently dismisses your feelings with a joke, the only way to make them notice is to step away. And for Claire, this step away was a mirror, showing her exactly what it felt like to be ignored. The morning after, the house was silent. Claire's laughter was gone. Her calls, texts, and missed alerts were all I could hear buzzing on my phone. 47 attempts to reach me, and yet not one of them broke my calm. I wasn't angry, just steady. She came into the kitchen later that day, hair tousled, eyes red from a restless night. "Daniel," she began, voice trembling, "please just come back. I didn't mean." I held up a hand. "I know you didn't mean it," I said quietly. "But that's exactly the problem. You didn't mean it, and it's been happening for months." Claire froze. She opened her mouth to argue, but the words died there. I continued, "It's not about ruining the fun, Claire. It's about respect. About noticing each other before it's too late." She looked away, ashamed, fiddling with the edge of her sweater. In that moment I saw the truth. A truth she had been hiding behind laughter for far too long. This wasn't just a joke. It was a pattern. And patterns have consequences. The following days I noticed her behavior shift. She tried to fix things with small gestures. Coffee in bed, casual compliments, even leaving sticky notes with little apologies. But each one felt hollow because she hadn't truly reflected. She was reacting to my absence, not understanding the root of the problem. Then came the HR probe. Claire had made a careless comment at work, one that someone interpreted as unprofessional. I don't know if it was karma, coincidence, or fate, but suddenly she was the one under scrutiny. The laughter and lightness that once defined her presence were replaced by anxious whispers, hurried calls, and endless explanations. I watched quietly, not out of malice but out of clarity. The woman who once dismissed my feelings with humor now faced the consequences of her own carelessness. And in this silent observation, I felt a strange justice settle in. By the end of the week, she had been reprimanded officially. Meetings were scheduled. Documentation collected. For the first time, Claire was on the other side, experiencing the tension, scrutiny, and pressure she had often laughed off at my expense. And yet, despite it all, she still reached out. 47 calls had become just the beginning. But this time I wasn't rushing back. I had learned that silence could speak louder than any argument or joke. By the following Monday, Claire's world had shifted. The confident, teasing woman who once mocked me with "you're ruining the fun" was now quiet, cautious, and tense. Every movement was measured, every word considered. I watched her from across the room, silently, without judgment, only noticing the subtle cracks that had appeared in her armor. She tried to reach out again that evening, her phone buzzing insistently. "Daniel, please, I just want to explain. Can we talk?" But I ignored it. I had come to realize that explanations weren't enough. Actions were what mattered. And for months her actions had spoken louder than any apology could. Later, she approached me in the living room, eyes filled with anxiety and a hint of desperation. I messed up," she admitted. "I didn't mean to hurt you. I wasn't thinking." I looked at her calmly. "You didn't just hurt me, Claire. You dismissed me. You laughed at my feelings. And now you're seeing what it feels like when the other person walks away." Her hands shook. She sank onto the couch, tears slipping down her cheeks. I didn't offer comfort, didn't rush to erase her guilt. That wasn't my role anymore. The lesson she needed to learn wasn't about forgiveness. It was about accountability. The next day, she received the final notice from HR. Her position was downgraded temporarily pending further review. Her colleagues treated her differently, whispering behind closed doors. The woman who once commanded a room with charm and wit now moved carefully, aware of every eye watching her. I continued my life as I had the week before, calm, collected, and grounded. I reconnected with friends, focused on my own projects, and allowed Claire the space to reflect. And slowly, I realized that walking away had not just been a lesson for her, but a liberation for me. By the end of the month, she stopped trying to call, stopped sending frantic messages. The house grew quieter, but the silence no longer felt heavy. It felt deserved, necessary, and healing. Sometimes, love isn't about fighting for someone who refuses to see. Sometimes it's about stepping away and letting them face the consequences of their own choices. And as I walked past her one evening, she looked up, her eyes wide with the memory of 47 missed calls, understanding, finally, the weight of her own actions. I didn't say a word. I just smiled faintly and went to the kitchen. Because the fun she thought she controlled? It had ended. And this time it wasn't me who was laughing.